Now let's talk more broadly about domestic terrorism, because the riot on January 6th didn't come out of nowhere. And last year, the Department of Justice created a task force to investigate and understand the growth of political violence. The memo creating the task force states, amid peaceful demonstrations protected by the First Amendment, we have seen anti-government extremists engage in indefensible acts of violence designed to undermine public order. Among other lawless conduct, these extremists have violently attacked police officers and public and private property and threatened innocent people. Is that task force still operating?
I know the work that the task force began is still ongoing.
In the past year, we have seen massive rioting and violence as extremists, many of them leftist extremists, took to the streets across the country. In just 2 weeks at the end of May and early June, over 700 law enforcement officers were injured. Looking at all of 2020, over 14,000 people have been arrested in 49 cities, and at least 25 people have died in the violence. And it's estimated that the property damages from these riots could exceed $2 billion. What is the FBI doing to counter this ongoing pattern of domestic terrorism?
So, Senator, certainly we tried to respond aggressively with our partners to the domestic violent extremism that we saw playing out in streets all across the country this summer. Most of that activity, a lot of that activity, I would say, fell in what we would categorize as anti-government, anti-authority violent extremism. Some of it is anarchist violent extremism, some of it is militia violent extremism, some of it might even be sovereign citizen violent extremism, but we saw a huge uptick in violent extremism in that broad bucket over the course of last year. And so we're trying to be aggressive with the tools that we have in terms of the charges we're bringing. We're trying to, as we talked about, frankly, in connection with January 6th, same thing for the summer. We're trying to look at sources of funding, planning, coordination, trying to learn more about tradecraft and tactics and things like that so that we can be better prepared to prevent it and feed information to our state and local partners so they can be better prepared to prevent it. As I think I said to Senator Grassley, last year, we had 3 times the number of anarchist violent extremist arrests from, say, the prior year, I think it was. Certainly more last year than the prior 3 years combined. We did see last year, as Senator Grassley noted in his opening comments, the first murder by an anarchist violent extremist last year in quite some time, certainly. Which was the individual who in Portland killed a supporter of an opposing viewpoint. And then the individual in question, the violent extremist, was himself killed in a shootout as the marshals were trying to apprehend him.
Thank you.